All right, guys, today is Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. So I'm out here. I am going to try to get the left flipper installed and adjusted and working properly today. So it's probably going to take a little bit of time to get it, fine-tuned and working like I like. After that's done, if I still have time, if it's not too late in the evening, I'm going to bring the hood back out here, set it up on some sawhorses, and I'm going to start sanding and buffing it. Well, I'm going to start sanding on it, and if I get it all sanded down and done, I'll start the polishing process on it. And then at that point, the hood will be ready to assemble and then bolt on the car. I have all the, the stuff out from underneath of it, the hood latch brackets and the brace rods, all that stuff's out of it. It's all painted and ready, and I have ARP 12-point hardware to put it all in. It's already been mocked up, and everything's tagged and bagged. So it's just a matter of bolting stuff on. And then I can get it on the car. However, I still have forgot to paint the hood hinges, and it's raining today. So I don't paint when it's raining. Sometimes it causes issues with the paint. When you're using satin and flat paints, the moisture kind of tends to turn the paint, have a white hue to it, and it's just the moisture in the air, I'm assuming. So I don't paint anything when it's raining. But I've got work I can do before the hinges are ready for paint anyway, so that's kind of where I'm at. Pretty proud of the flipper setup on this side. It turned out fantastic. It operates properly, and it has the rear bumper in it, the little rubber stop or whatever, and it also has the big front stop that's kind of unique, and it's all working and doing what it's supposed to do. So that's always a plus. I'm kind of thinking this side's probably going to paint a paint in the rear, because even though that side went on and it took several hours to get it on and finalized, it did go kind of smooth. But, anytime that usually happens when you go to do the other side, usually that's the one that bites you in the rear and you have problems with it. So that's pretty much about all that's left on the car, is getting this flipper on, getting the hood on after it's polished and painted, or polished and parts put on, and then put on the car and adjusted. That is just about pretty much it for the car. I still need to take it on a main highway road test to check it all out and everything. But I think that's probably pretty much it. And, I'm sure something will come up here and there on it. Maybe some more bugs to work out as I get it out on the highway, but who knows. I need to give it a really good polish with my orbital polisher, so it'll get a good detail job after everything's finally done on it. And then get it a good polish, and then probably put some ceramic wax on it. I don't have any. I'm going to have to buy some. So that is kind of the plan. But this car is, it's just about done, man. And I'm glad of that. And I actually might be able to make some car shows this season. I can hear the wife pulling in for lunch, so it's going to be lunchtime for me. So as soon as this car is done, I am going to get back on the wife's four-door and get to work on it. And I might kind of sprinkle in a little bit of the Kawasaki GPZ 305 motorcycle project while I'm working on her car, especially if I have to mix up primer or do some painting work or whatever. I'll try to work some of that in as well to try to help, at least try to get a couple things done every few weeks at least on that bike. And then that way this winter, hopefully all the parts are painted, and then I can just assemble it. But right now I'm going to eat lunch with my wife. Okay, well, I'm impressed. So I stuck the flipper up there and put all the screws in, and basically stood back and closed the door, and the flipper worked right out of the gate. It closed completely, and it looks pretty good. So that never happens. Now I gotta take the rear screw and the front screw out. I gotta put in those stops, or whatever they're called, rubber bumpers, whatever you want to call them. So I'll do one at a time, just like I did the other side, to make sure I don't have any issues before I continue on with the other one. All right, guys, I had a subscriber wanting to see a video of hood spring installation and removal. So this is a 55, 56 hood hinge Chevrolet car, and I've got new springs here. Now 55 and 56 springs are different. The 56 springs are stronger. I don't know exactly how much. The 56 hoods are heavier than a 55 hood. So Anyway, they basically have just a loop, like a hook, and they attach right here, and they attach right here. So if you look at these, that is squared right here. That's a 90-degree square. This one has a soft edge to it right here, and you could actually make it softer if you want to. You can soften off both of those with a grinder if you wanted to. But anyway, this is a soft one. So what I do is I put the spring on there. Now I like to put the hook part down. I don't like that hook piece coming up because it gets caught on your shirt or your rag or whatever if you're trying to detail the car. So I like to have it down so I don't get across it and tear myself up. But I will hook it in the very bottom of that spring first. Now I've got the hood hinge fully open. It's on the stop right here. This little bitty part right here is just the hood stop for that. Anyway, I'll put it up here on that, and with that being rounded, it goes on just like that. It is that easy. So, to get it apart, all I do is grab this spring, and I grab it like that. I grab the top of the hinge here, and I just pull and lift up and kind of try to twist like this to roll it out. And you can get it off there. It's not that big a deal. Now you can use a screwdriver to get up in there to pull that out, but sometimes it can be a little bit of a bear to try to get out of there like that. So to me, it's just easier to do it by hand. But that's how you do a hood spring on a 55-56 hood hinge. Thanks for watching. Well, I was going to paint these yesterday, but I wanted to clean them up and customize them a little bit to make them look a little detailed. And these things are pretty basic and kind of ugly. They've got like really rough little areas all over them, especially this, all the leading edges of everything. It has like a seam down the middle, just not in very good shape, you know what I mean? It has some neat features. Like it has this little oval shaped piece right here. It's kind of raised oval. You can really see it better from this side, so it's an indent. And this side, it's a teardrop shape indent. Now this is all raised right here in the center of this upper hinge, but it actually tapers. It's hard to see in raw metal, but it actually tapers. It goes from wide to thin. So it had potential to be nice. So I spent about an hour smoothing edges and drilling speed holes in it. I've still got that one to go, but these hinges I've already tightened up all the rivets a little bit. I didn't super tighten them, but I did tighten up, got a lot of the slack out of them. But so I drilled a bunch of holes and I speed holed them basically, and then I chamfered them all. So what I use to chamfer those edges is countersink bits. This is just a Harbor Freight set. They're very inexpensive, like 10 bucks or 8 bucks or something. They're not very expensive. But anyway, these work really, really nice, and a drill on metal just to kind of soften the edge on holes if you drill speed holes. But anyway, it looks pretty good. I stepped the oval shaped one there, and then I went from large to smaller down here toward the bottom, and then the teardrop shape I done it. But I worked all the edges on this, smoothed up all the edges. I rounded all the corners, softened them so nothing's sharp and edgy. And that right there, that's a major improvement over that. And it's one of those deals that's so subtle nobody's really going to notice. They're probably going to notice the speed holes, no doubt, but I think it looks pretty cool. I got speed hole details all over the car, so it just kind of goes along with it. But so I got more time to spend on this one, and then I get to do all that finish work on it. But I wanted to finish it all out in metal first and, get it ready for primer and then paint. But man, what a job. But that'll look really, really nice on there, man. That's going to look really good. All those little speed hole details. When the hood's up, it shows. You're going to see pretty much all of them from either side. So that'll look pretty sweet, I think, anyway. Thanks for watching.